What's up, YouTube? It's your girl Kai Speaks, and we're doing things a little different today. I'm going to be interviewing the mystery cameraman, which you always hear his voice, but you never see him. And guess what? You won't see him this time either, but I'm going to be interviewing him. I'm asking him some questions about his experiences in Kensington, because he's the one that always brings these wonderful Kensington videos. So without further ado, let's get started. So, Mr. Cameraman, do you want us to say your name, or you want us to just call you Mr. Cameraman?
Call me Mystery Cameraman.
Mystery. All right, Mystery Cameraman. So you're the one that goes into Kensington, which sometimes I'm with you going into Kensington, but sometimes it's just you. So we want to talk about your experiences in Kensington. So first off, let's start off by asking, what is the worst thing that you have seen being in Kensington?
Wow. Well, I've seen a lot of different things. I guess the worst thing I can say that I've seen or that's happened, that could have happened to me when I tried to go interview a Kensington addict slash prostitute. She wanted to take me to do the interview in a private location where she took her clients to do the nasty.
Oh, so she wanted to take you on a date?
I wouldn't say a date, but she wanted to take me in that area to do the interview where all the magic happens between her and her clientele.
Sounds like she was setting you up for a date.
I guess that was kind of, yeah, that was kind of creepy, to be honest with you. But obviously I started walking down to go do the interview where she was talking at. And then I seen a couple sketchy dudes standing on the side. And
sound like that was a setup.
I just followed my instincts and I said, you know what? To myself, I said, this doesn't seem right. And I headed back to another street. I said, no, I can't do this. Let's go back. And she followed me. She said, oh, what's wrong? You don't want to do the interview? And I said, yeah, I'll do the interview. We'll do it over here. So we did the interview near a van that was kind of huge. So cars that went by wouldn't kind of stop or interrupt the interview, or bring a lot of attention to the interview. Because I like to do my interviews. Sometimes I do it in the open, but sometimes I like to, do it in the cut. So I don't like to bring a lot of attention to the interview, because when I do an interview with a Kensington addict, I like to have my undivided attention with them.
So can we go back? Oh yeah, I definitely agree with that, because what they have to say is important, and you want to let them know that you are, listening to what they're saying, and that, they do matter, which I know that you do have discussions with them before the interview. Obviously you have the interview, and then you do talk with them, post interview. But can we just go back to what you were saying, how you observed the situation and you realized that something just wasn't right? Because I'm going back to that because I've seen in some of the comments that people have posted, oh, well, that person acts like they're not familiar with Kensington. That person, this is not a lot of people, but a few people I've seen, that this person seems like they're not familiar with Kensington. That person doesn't know the streets. So I'm glad to hear you say that you are very observant when being in Kensington. So anybody that says, oh, well, he's not aware of the streets, like him or I, we're not new to Kensington, have been going to Kensington for years. So, for people that say, oh, well, you don't know about the streets, you don't know about addiction, you don't know about this, that's absolutely not true. But I digress. All right, Mr. Cameraman, we're going to get back to you. What would you say, in your experience, is the most dangerous street in Kensington?
That's a great question. To me personally, I would say Kensington and Allegheny, because I've noticed that there's a lot of I'm giving you guys the inside scoop here. There is a lot of drug dealers that hang around near that area.
Well, don't give them too much.
Yeah, that's true. But you know, I keep it real with the viewers. So there's a lot of drug dealers hang out in that area, and I feel like people know who that drug addicts are and who the drug dealers are. And without telling you exactly where they stand at, you know, obviously I know the police officers know who they are. But the police officers tend to, okay, they'll have some in bikes, they'll have some walking, and they'll have some sitting in their cars. Now, to me, I think all the police officers should be walking around, not just sitting in their car, because I've noticed that when I go there to Kensington, I notice a lot of police officers while I'm walking around, they're sitting in their cars and they're not even looking at what's going on outside their vehicle. They're on their cell phone. Looking down at the cell phone. It could be someone that comes up to them and ambushes them, and they wouldn't even know that it's coming. You're in one of the worst areas in the East Coast, drug infested areas in the East Coast.
Open air drug market.
Open air drug market. Not just open air drug market for drugs, open air market for prostitution. You understand what I'm saying? And
a very high overdose rate. You can't even imagine how many times per day that the ambulance have to come due to overdoses. So I think all hands need to be, you know, on deck with patrolling, you know, because if you in the, you know, squad car and you are looking at your phone, all it takes is within a second, something can happen. And no, we're not anti-police. Somebody had commented like a week ago, oh, y'all are anti-police. No, we're not anti-police. We're just keeping it real, and our experience in Kensington that, you know, that we've seen, and he's, you know, discussing what he's seen as well.
Exactly. And the thing about it is that, you know, these, like I said, these police officers needs to be more aware of where they're at. This is a dangerous area. Do not get complacent, because you don't know what a criminal is going to do. You know, you don't know if you did someone wrong last week and they're coming back to get you, or if you went to lock someone up and one of their homeboys is standing around in a corner somewhere and they get the message to come get the cop. So they need to be very aware.
And also, to piggyback off that, you know, certain drugs that people do, they have them hallucinating, can put them into psychosis. So, you know, they need to be aware of that as well. And, you know, and being on your phone, you're not going to be aware if somebody is coming up to you because they're hallucinating in psychosis, or like you said, if somebody is coming, you know, for a get back. All right, let's see. So the next question for the mystery cameraman. Let's see. So we asked you, what was your most dangerous experience?
Dangerous street I've been on.
The most dangerous street that you've been on. So I'm trying to think how I can put this. I know I have it in my mind, but I'm trying to think how I can ask it. So for someone that is not familiar with Kensington, or even someone that is familiar with Kensington but has never been to Kensington, how would you describe Kensington to the people? And I'm just going to say this and then I'm going to let you talk, because for me, the first time that I experienced Kensington, I heard about it, but the first time I experienced it, it's like a completely different world there. And I know a lot of times when people say Zombieland, people get offended, but if you actually go into Kensington, you will understand why it is called Zombieland. So what would you say to people that are either not familiar with Kensington or have heard of Kensington but have never been? What would you say to them about Kensington?
I would say Kensington. See, there's a lot of times where we receive a lot of comments. Well, you receive a lot of comments. I'm just your cameraman.
Yeah.
But, you know, a lot of people say, oh, you don't know anything about Kensington. When's the last time you've been there? Blah, blah, blah. Hello, I'm in there recording, interviewing people on substance abuse. They tell me their story. Sometimes I go in there, I you know, for the channel, I bless them.
It's just not, I'm sorry, but to piggyback off what you said, it's not just for the channel, because there are times when they are blessed and it's not on camera. So I don't want anyone coming and say, oh, well, when you bless them, you're just blessing them because you're trying to get views, you're trying to get likes, and that's not the case. They have been blessed off camera as well. So I just wanted to throw that out there.
Correct. So if it's not blessing them, sometimes it's talking to them. Mm-hmm. That's all they want, is for you to talk to them. And my experience is that sometimes I'll go and I'll talk to the person that's sitting by themselves on the bench, because you never know, that could be the day where they just completely fed up. And you don't want to think like this, but they might say to themselves, this is the day that they're going to commit suicide. Mm-hmm. And that they're fed up with everything. And it could be that one person that comes up to them and makes their day and changes their mind, because they think that no one cares. And by a person coming up to them and talking to them and wanting to know about their life and them as a person, treating them like a human being that they are, they engage in conversation and they feel better about it. So to answer your question, what I would tell people is Kensington is, you see all different types of people. It's an open air drug market. Some people say, I've interviewed addicts before, and I say, well, how is this an open air drug market if the cops grab your drugs when they see it and they smash it on the ground or take you to jail? Mm-hmm. That's not an open air drug market. How is that an open air drug market? But they tell me, yes, it still is, because some cops do that, but then there's other cops that look the other way. Mm-hmm. Other cops sit, like I was mentioning earlier, they sit in their car. Yeah. Looking at their cell phone. They're not looking at anything, or they turn a blind eye when they see stuff. So you see all types of things in Kensington. You can walk in Kensington, and, well, let me take that back. People that come to Kensington, that go to Kensington, is usually for a reason. It's usually the cop. Not all of them. Some of them are just passing through. Some of them live there. Mm-hmm. Some of them are going to the library there. Right. At the famous Needle Park, mm-hmm. which is
McPherson Square.
McPherson Square. And a lot of these addicts, there's a lot of different drugs that they sell down there. Mm-hmm. Heroin, fentanyl,
everything you want. Percocets, meth, Xannies.
Exactly.
Oxys, everything you want.
The worst thing that I've ever seen down there, well, I've seen plenty of worse things, but I've seen plenty of times where addicts have had needles stuck in their neck, or another addict have been putting the needle in someone's neck, someone's vein. It's just...
And that's just another day in Kensington. You know, like, I can remember, like, you know, like back in the day that people were, you know, using drugs. They tried to hide it. They didn't want anybody to know. But with being in Kensington, that's just like another day in Kensington. You walk by, you see somebody with a needle in their neck. You see somebody shooting somebody up. You see somebody smoking crack, people passing each other crack pipes. Like, that's just a day in Kensington. So you know, once you've been there, like it's sad to say. So I can only imagine the people that like live there, how they feel about it. But it's just like once you've been to Kensington and you get used to it, you see it, and it's just another day in Kensington. And it is a sad, you know, situation when, I don't want to say it becomes normal, but when you see that and you're in Kensington, it's just like, oh, that's just what happens here.
Yeah, and people get immune to it. It's like, I've talked to people, I'm talking about residents that live in that area, and they say they get immune to it. And that's sad to hear that. That you can see somebody, an addict on the floor, on the ground, excuse me, and don't even go check on them because you'd be like, oh, they're fine, they're just high. But that person can literally be dead.
Yep. People just walk right past them, or just step over and walk right past them, or go through their pockets.
So I challenge anyone that walks through Kensington. I know you want to mind your business, but if you have heart and you see an addict on the ground, at least say, hey, check on them. If you keep saying something to them and they don't respond, go to the nearest police officer that you see and tell them, can you please check on this person? That's what the police office should be doing anyway.
Exactly.
Checking, patrolling and checking on these addicts that they're not laying on the ground, possibly dead.
Yeah. And an OD, it can happen so fast. I'm just going to take it back to, I'm sorry, you see me swatting it's nets, mosquitoes, whatever it is, because I'm outside. So I can remember, I think this was like maybe last summer when I was in Kensington, and I told this story before in another video, but I'm just gonna say it again so you can see how fast it happens. Seen a young lady and she kept stumbling and stumbling. Then finally she was able to stand up, and literally within, I'm gonna say like maybe 5 seconds, maybe not even that, the next thing I know, she was sprawled out on the ground and she had overdosed. And thank God she survived, but I'm telling you, it can happen just that fast. So just because you see them laying on the ground, you just can't assume that they're okay. And you know, thankfully people were around. Somebody had Narcan. I didn't have any Narcan with me, but I did tell the mystery cameraman that you know, when we go, we need to make sure that we do have Narcan, because you never know when you might need to use it. All right, mystery cameraman,